Hi, in today's video I'm going to show you how to service your hot water heater as well as give you some general information about hot water heaters, so stay tuned. Now the first thing with your hot water heater is you open it. It's a spring-loaded little plastic thing. You pull it out and your lid will fold down. Depending on the faceplate of your hot water heater, this may actually come off because when you buy a hot water heater or replace one, actually it will not come with the cover. So anyway, the plate folds down just like that. One thing to look at when you buy a used RV is the surface of the hot water heater itself. If you've ever left a soda can or a beer can in the freezer overnight, you'll notice that it bulges out. Well, a hot water heater is like a large soda can on its side, and I'll show you on the inside in a few minutes what it looks like. But if a hot water heater is filled with water and it freezes, it can expand, so it won't be as pronounced as a can of like soda that's been expanded in the freezer, but you'll notice some bulging on the front. Now this is smooth, so this one's in good shape. Currently there are two primary manufacturers of hot water heaters for RVs. One is called Suburban and the other one is called Atwood. When you buy an RV, it pretty much comes with whatever it comes with. If you special order an RV from a manufacturer, you might be able to request a certain manufacturer or a certain size. Most of the standard sizes are 6 gallon, which this one is, or 10 gallons. There are some larger ones, and I think there may even be a smaller one, a 4 gallon, but for a typical travel trailer like this, it's probably going to be a 6 gallon or a 10 gallon hot water heater. The primary differences between Suburban and Atwater is, and this is a Suburban 6 gallon, is the Suburbans are made of steel, like your residential hot water heaters, versus Atwoods are made out of aluminum. Which one's better? I don't know. I'll show you in a second, but with the steel line one, you have to have an anoid rod in here, and I'll show you in a second what that looks like. But that has to be changed periodically, and the purpose of the anode rod is when water is heated, it will corrode steel. And the anode rod is a self-sacrificing metal, so it will eat away at the anode rod instead of the actual hot water heater tank. If these things are taken care of, I heard they can last 10 years or so. So it's important to periodically change your anode rod. I want to apologize for any background noise. I live in suburbia, airplanes flying over, dogs barking, kids playing, cars driving by. Nothing I can do about it. That's just the fact of life, and not ideal circumstances, but it is what it is. So anyway, with the hot water heaters, there's primarily two types the way to heat it. One is propane only, and the other one is propane and electric. There may be electric only ones, I'm not sure, but if you have propane and electric, you can either run it off of shore power or your generator through electric, or propane, or both. If you run it off of both, you'll actually get more hot water heater than just propane only or electric only. Now with the propane, there's two primary kinds. One is you'll have a knob here and you'll light it like with one of these. So you'll turn the knob and light it. The other one, which this is, it's called a DSI, direct spark ignition. It's a red wire, and basically there's a switch inside, and when I turn on the switch, it will light it for me. So those are the primary differences between direct spark ignition and the one where you manually light it as well. The hot water heater is located underneath that bench, so I'm going to remove it and show you what it looks like. This is what the hot water heater looks like on the inside, and this little box to the side there with the red wire, that's the direct spark ignition, and I'll show you on the wall later. There's the water pump, and this is the fresh water tank. I believe it's 20 gallons. I thought I'd quickly explain how the system actually works. Essentially, the water pump takes water from the freshwater tank, the blue, cold, pumps it to the base of the hot water heater, and then the hot water, the red, obviously comes out and goes to the rest of the trailer. These switches, if they're parallel like this, that means there's water will flow this way, flow through. If they're turned this way, that means they're shut off. And when they're shut off, you can bypass, basically a bypass whereby you can winterize the entire trailer, the piping, the water tanks, the lines, without having this kind of winterization antifreeze going into your hot water heater. So I'm going to turn that back on. Kind of a mess, but that's what it looks like. Now I'm going to discuss how to service your hot water heater. A couple of very important things. Number one, turn off the power, electric or propane to your hot water heater. Make sure the city water is disconnected. Make sure the hot water heater is cold or cool. Open the valves in your sink or a bathroom, both hot and cold, to release pressure. This is a pressure release valve. You'll flip this up and any excess water pressure will come out. You don't want to use this too much, because over time, if you use it too much over time, it will start leaking. So, but make sure that all those steps are completely taken before you attempt to drain the hot water heater. As I mentioned earlier, the two primary manufacturers are Atwood and Suburban. The Atwood's going to have a, right about here, it's going to be a plastic drain plug, and the Suburban's right here in the center is going to be the anoid rod. For the anoid rod, you're going to need a 1 1/16 inch socket. You'll probably need an extension to get out to be able to open it. You can also buy a special socket. They're about $10. But before I said about getting rid of all the pressure, because if you take this out and there's pressure, this thing will come flying out. So I'm going to show you what this anode rod looks like. I've already loosened it. That's what it looks like. This one is probably, I'm going to guess, it's got a long life left. You're supposed to replace these when they're about, I think, 75%. This is probably only about 20% eaten up. This hot water heater is not very old. The primary way to flush the hot water heater is you can buy it's a little plastic extension. You attach it to a drinking water hose. It has a little hook on the end, and you put it inside there, and it'll flush it. You can turn it and flush out the hot water and pull it out and pull out, because there'll be a bunch of sediment and gunk in your hot water heater, especially if it's old. Or you can just turn on your water pump inside your RV and just let the water flush out. And what I did was, those wands are only about $10, so not a big deal. But what I do is I basically plugged up this hole with my thumb or finger and built up pressure, and then just and the water just shoot out. I can kind of reach in there and feel the base. There's still a few little crumbs of sediment and stuff, but so those are the basic ways to flush out your hot water heater. And you really want to empty this after every trip. If you're full timing, that's different. But if you're just camping, when you get home, empty it, flush it out, and leave it empty. Well, I hope you found this video useful and gave you a little bit of education on hot water heaters. I'm learning as I transition into full-time RVing. So if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe below, and there's also a bell notification, so the next time I upload a new video you will be notified. So thanks for your time, appreciate it, and have a great day.